I want to talk baseball. Reason being is that I'm going to be throwing insurance content out over the next weeks and months, and I want to break that pattern up a little bit. And also, it's enjoyable for me. I don't get to coach baseball on that full-time basis that I used to, so it's fun. And if I'm able to help some kids or some coaches or anything like that, I think that would be a beautiful thing. That'd be fantastic. I want to talk about the hitting approach. That's something that I'm very passionate about. Being an ex-hit coach, it's something that I think would be extremely helpful for younger kids to get used to doing at an earlier and earlier age. If you guys have a career that's anything like mine, you'll go through your entire high school life essentially with no hitting approach, working off reaction throughout that whole time, get to your freshman year, and get overwhelmed by the velocity and by the different pitches and the better breaking balls and sliders and even throwing some two seams and splits in there too. It's extremely difficult when you're 18 years old trying to deal with that level of pitching with no approach. And maybe you get to sophomore year and you start realizing you got to make an adjustment. You start grasping a concept or two about having a plan when you go to the plate. You realize it helps and you use it from there. Problem with that, unless you go pro, that you only use it for 2+ years and you're just starting to really learn these different concepts and different approaches for different situations and putting them into place in practice, and then you're done. So I think that's kind of a shame. You look back and you say, gosh, I should have done this 10 years ago. So high schoolers, middle schoolers, I think it would be a big deal. Even in Little League, why not? Get a plan when you go to the plate. I don't think it's something that you have to be older to be able to have a plan in your mind and direct your brain when you go to the plate. What is a hitting approach? Number one, why do you use it? Hitting is extremely difficult because it's a reaction thing. Talking about why. It's a reaction, and it's why it's one of the most difficult things to do in sports is you have to decide whether it's a fastball, curveball, is it a strike or a ball, and then you have to make an action on it after that. The plan, the approach, will kind of flip the script a little bit, and it'll turn that reaction into action, where you're active about what you're looking for and assumptive about getting it. And when you get it, you recognize it better, and you're on top of it a lot more. So what is an approach? The approach to me, I'm told that when you're trying to execute something or you're coming up with a goal, you want to define it simply, and then you can get more specific. So the simple version would be you look for something. If you get it, you hit it. If you don't, you don't. Simple as that. In different situations are going to dictate what your approach will be based on a lot of different factors: the pitcher, the count, the score, the runners on base, how many outs there are, all those things. I bet you your coaches are talking about those situations now and what you want to do in those spots, but go up there and start thinking about where you want pitches, and if you get them there, you let it go. You need to have a clear conscience about it, and you're 100% aggressive about that. The flip side of that is that if you're 100% aggressive about that, what happens is you recognize balls more, and I bet you'll actually walk more. You're looking in areas of the plate, maybe it's your time. Maybe you get your area. And I don't want to define it with lines and be too specific about it. For me, I'd said, top of the knees, top of the belt-ish, in that kind of down zone area is where I liked it, not on the corners. So if it's there, I'm going to go. So the other aspect, like I said, be 100% aggressive. If you're getting what you're looking for and you're not swinging, I question what are you doing? You're not hitting. You're kind of hoping at that point that it works out. So if you get what you're looking for, clear conscience, let it rip. And then as time goes by, you'll start defining guy on second, no outs. I'm looking for something on, I'm a right-handed hitter. I'm looking for something on the outer half of the plate that I can handle. I'm trying to hit it hard. I'm not trying to hit a ground ball to the right side. I'm looking for an area, and if I hit. And you'll know, guy on third, less than 2 outs. I'm trying to hit that fly ball to the outfield. As I get to know myself, I know that if it's belt high and not inside, I'm going to hit it in the air. So every time I get that area, doesn't matter if it's first pitch, I'm going. Every single time. And like I said, I bet you'll walk more. being 100% aggressive about that is going to help you tremendously. You'll notice I'm not talking about pitch guessing, putting yourself in a gray area, having no data and trying to guess curveball, fastball, and then trying to guess ball strike. Look for an area of the plate. If you get, you hit. What happens? I believe that you will recognize those breaking balls better that way than trying to figure it out consciously and then trying to figure out second level, is it a ball or strike? Is it in my zone? I don't care how fast or slow it is. If it's in my area, if it's what I'm looking for, and I've kind of pre-planned what I'm looking for, if it's there, I got a good shot at hitting it well.